One cold night, while Ayinde went out to pee, he heard something strange. It wasn't the sound of crickets or the rustle of leaves. No, this was different, like a soft song calling his name. His hands shook as he held his rusty lamp so tight. "Who there?" he shouted, his voice shaking, but no one answered. Ayinde's heart was pounding so fast. The sound was coming from the ground, right under his feet, shaking so fast as if it wanted to burst open. Even though he was scared, Ayinde dropped to his knees and started digging with his bare hands. With each scoop of soil, the strange hum grew louder. Then he saw it, a glowing horn, buried deep in the earth. It shone like fire, yet so cold to touch. As Ayinde picked it up, a deep voice spoke from nowhere. "Ayinde, this is the horn of Owo. It will give you wisdom and wealth, but be careful. Use it with a clean heart, or it will destroy you." Ayinde gasped and dropped the horn. His palms were sweaty. Which kind thing be this? Who they talk? But the forest was silent again, as if nothing had happened. Before this strange night, Ayinde was just a poor farmer. He lived in a small mud house at the edge of Ilera village with his 6-year-old son Durojaye. His wife Tenny had died years ago, and Ayinde had been struggling ever since. His farm was small, his yams were tiny, and people in the village often whispered about his bad luck. "Ayinde go just suffer like this till he old," Mama Aduke would say, shaking her head at the market. "But that man too stubborn," Baba Karim would reply. "He no go sell down him land? He no go find better work? Abi he dey wait for miracle?" Even though people talked about him, Ayinde was a kind man. He would share his last bowl of garri with anyone who knocked on his door. When Durojaye asked, "Baba, why we no get plenty food like others?" Ayinde would smile sadly and say, "Olorun go provide, my pikin. One day, things go better." That evening, after finding the horn, Ayinde didn't sleep. He couldn't stop thinking about it. By morning, he hurriedly rushed to his farmland to test it. He held the horn close and whispered, "If you really get power, give me enough yams to fill my farm." As soon as he spoke, the ground began to shake. Durojaye, who was playing nearby, ran to his father. "Baba, wetin dey happen?" Before their eyes, Ayinde's dry, empty farmland started to change. Green yam vines began to sprout everywhere, growing taller and taller until the whole farm was filled with big, fat yams. "Baba, see yams!" Durojaye screamed with joy, clapping his hands. Ayinde dropped to his knees, staring in shock. "Olorun o! This one no be ordinary horn o!" The news spread quickly. By evening, the whole village was talking. "Mama Aduke, you don hear? Ayinde farm full with yams overnight." "Na lie!" Mama Aduke shouted, almost dropping her basket of tomatoes. "Yams no dey grow overnight. Na which kind story you dey tell me so?" "It's true o. Big, big yams like head of cow," said a boy who had seen the farm with his own eyes. "People dey go look am like say they dey look shrine." By afternoon, a crowd gathered at the edge of Ayinde's farm. Men, women, even children, all stared at the tall green yam vine spreading across the once empty land. Baba Karim pushed to the front, rubbing his chin as he eyed the farm suspiciously. "This one no clear," he muttered. "Yam no dey grow like magic. Wetin Ayinde do?" Some nodded in agreement, but Mama Aduke spoke up. "Make una leave the man alone. If Olorun bless am, wetin concern una?" Inside his small house, Ayinde heard voices outside. He peeked through the window and saw people gossiping from a distance. about his farm. He shook his head, saying, "Una go use me gossip tire." He mumbled as he turned to look at little Durojaye, who was nibbling on a piece of yam roasted over the fire. As days passed, Ayinde's life began to change. His farm was always full. The yams never seemed to finish. He sold some, gave some to hungry families in the village, and kept enough for himself and Durojaye. People praised him. "Ah, Ayinde, God go bless you o. Ah, God don bless Ayinde o. See as your pikin dey shine now," Mama Aduke said one day, smiling as she collected a basket of yams Ayinde gave her. But jealousy also grew in the hearts of others. Baba Karim, who once had the biggest farm in Ilera, now looked at Ayinde's success with bitter eyes. "No be ordinary hand," he grumbled to his friend one evening. "Something dey behind am. Ayinde no fit get all this yam just like that overnight." His friends nodded. "True talk. If no be charm, how e take happen?" That night, Baba Karim sat under a tree, thinking hard. "I must know wetin Ayinde dey hide. I must get to the root of this matter," he said to himself, his face dark with anger. Meanwhile, Ayinde began to notice something strange about the horn. At night, when everything was quiet, he could hear it hum softly, even though it was hidden under his bed. Sometimes, it whispered things he couldn't understand, words that sounded like secrets. One night, as Ayinde sat alone, the horn's voice returned. This time, it was clearer than ever. "Ayinde, your heart is clean, but others are watching you. Do not be greedy. Do not be proud. The power of the horn is not for everyone." Ayinde's eyes darted around the room. "Who dey talk?" he whispered, though he already knew the answer. The horn didn't reply. It just glowed faintly under the bed, as if warning him. The next morning, something even stranger happened. Ayinde woke up to find 2 goats tied to a tree outside his house. He frowned. "Who bring goat come here?" A small boy ran up panting. "Baba Karim say make I drop am. Him say na gift to thank you for your yams." Ayinde stared at the goat, suspicion crawling over his skin. "Baba Karim?" Something just didn't feel right, but he shrugged and told Durojaye, "Tie them well." Maybe Baba Karim don dey change from him bad ways. But Baba Karim had other plans. That night, while the village slept, Baba Karim crept towards Ayinde's house with 2 of his friends. They carried lanterns and whisper-talked as they walked. "We go find wetin the man dey hide tonight," Baba Karim said. "Anything we see, we either share am or we go expose am to the whole village." Inside the house, Ayinde couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned, feeling uneasy, like something was watching him. Suddenly, Durojaye sat up from his mat. "Baba, I hear footsteps." Ayinde froze. The sound was faint, but it was there, shuffling outside, near the window. His heart thumped as he grabbed the rusty cutlass by the door. "Who there?" he shouted, his voice loud and sharp. The footsteps stopped. The night fell silent. Ayinde tightened his grip on the cutlass and stepped outside into the dark. The lantern in his hand flickered as the wind blew softly. "Baba," Durojaye called nervously from inside the house. Then Ayinde saw it. 2 figures crouching near the window. Baba Karim's face flashed in the lantern's light before he ducked back. Ayinde's blood boiled. Baba Karim, Ayinde roared. Wetin you dey do for my house by this time of the night? Baba Karim stumbled to his feet. Ayinde no vex. I just dey pass by for night like thief. Ayinde stepped closer, his eyes sharp as daggers. Talk true now before I shout, make the whole village gather now. Baba Karim's friend had already started running, leaving him behind. Baba Karim opened his mouth to explain, but before he could say a word, the ground began to hum. Soft at first, then louder and louder. Ayinde's lantern flickered wildly, and the horn, hidden inside the house, began to glow through the cracks of the door. The whole earth seemed to shake, and Baba Karim's face turned pale. What is that? Baba Karim stammered, his voice shaking. Ayinde stared at him, then at the house. Sweat poured down his face. The horn was waking up, and it wasn't happy. The humming grew louder, like 1,000 voices singing from deep inside the earth. Baba Karim's knees wobbled, and he stumbled back, his eyes fixed on the faint glow coming from Ayinde's house. Ayinde, wetin you dey hide? Wetin dey glow for inside your house? Baba Karim cried, his voice cracking with fear. Ayinde didn't answer. His heart pounded as he turned towards the house. It was as if the horn could sense trouble. He needed to stop it before something worse happened. Duro Jaye, Ayinde shouted. Stay inside. No open that door. Baba, wetin dey happen? Fear dey catch me. Wetin be dis thing wey dey blow? Duro Jaye's small voice echoed from inside, full of confusion and fear. But before Ayinde could take another step, the ground beneath their feet shook harder. The lantern in his hand fell from his hand and rolled into the darkness. Baba Karim screamed, Ọlọ́run o, Ayinde, wetin be this? And then everything stopped. The humming, the shaking, the glow, all of it disappeared, leaving the night as quiet as before. The wind blew softly again, and the crickets returned to their song. Baba Karim, still sprawled, stared at Ayinde with wide eyes. Ayinde, na juju you dey do? You wan destroy all of us? Ayinde's face was dark with anger. Baba Karim, na you carry yourself come my house like thief in the night. If something bad happen, na you bring am upon yourself. Baba Karim scrambled to his feet, pointing a shaking finger at Ayinde. You dey lie. This thing no pure. I go tell the whole village. With that, he turned and ran into the darkness. His shadow disappeared into the trees. The next morning, the news spread like wildfire. Ayinde dey use juju. Him farm grow overnight, and now ground dey shake for night. Na lie, Mama Aduke shouted in the market square. Ayinde no be that kind person. Na jealousy dey worry una. But others didn't believe her. How ordinary yam go grow like that? Na charm? People began to look at Ayinde differently. The same villagers who once praised him now whispered behind his back. Children were pulled away when they walked past him. Men shook their heads when they saw him in the market. See am, they would mutter. The man no clean, in hand no pure. Duro Jaye noticed it at first as he followed his father to the farm that day. He tugged on Ayinde's hand. Baba, why people dey look us like that? Ayinde sighed deeply, his face tired. No mind them, my pikin. Na their mouth. Dem go talk today, forget tomorrow. But deep down, Ayinde knew things wouldn't be that easy. That night, Ayinde sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the horn in his hands. It glowed softly, as if it knew what had happened. Why you come my way? Ayinde muttered. his voice low. "I no ask for all this trouble." As if answering him, the horn began to hum gently. This time, its voice returned calm and steady. "Ayinde, power attracts both light and darkness, but you must choose what you will be. If your heart remains pure, the horn will protect you. If not, your end will come faster than you think." Ayinde swallowed hard. He placed the horn back under the bed and sat in the dark, staring at the thin glow creeping out from the floorboards. The next few days were quiet, too quiet. People stopped visiting Ayinde's farm. The yams still grew big and beautiful, but no one came to buy them anymore. Then one afternoon, as Ayinde rested under a mango tree with Rojaye, a man approached. He was dressed in fine clothes, and his skin shone like someone who had eaten well all his life. His name was Alhaji Tope, a rich trader from a neighboring village. "Na you be Ayinde?" Alhaji Tope asked, looking around the farm with greedy eyes. "Yes," Ayinde answered, standing up slowly. "How I fit help you?" Alhaji Tope smiled, his gold teeth glittering in the sun. "I hear say your farm dey full of miracle yams. I wan buy everything." "Everything?" Ayinde repeated, confused. "Yes, all your yams. I go pay you plenty money, enough to build house, buy goods, anything wey you want." Durojaye's face lit up. "Baba say yes, we go buy fine things." Ayinde's heart raced. Plenty money, enough to change his life forever. He thought of Durojaye eating well, wearing new clothes and going to school like the other children. He thought of the villagers, their whispers turning into silence. But then he remembered the horn's warning, "Do not be greedy." He looked back at Alhaji Tope, who was smiling like a hungry lion. "Why you won't buy all my farm?" Ayinde asked slowly. "Na my business," Alhaji Tope repeated sharply. "You go sell, abi you no go sell?" Ayinde hesitated. The weight of the horn's power felt heavy on his shoulders. He looked down at his son, who stared up at him with hope. "Baba," Durojaye whispered. Ayinde opened his mouth to answer, but before he could speak, something strange happened. The ground beneath them started to hum, softly at first, then louder, just like that night in the forest. Alhaji Tope's face paled. "Wetin be this?" Ayinde grabbed Durojaye's hand. The horn was awake again, and this time it wasn't happy. The humming grew louder, vibrating through the ground like a hidden heartbeat. Alhaji Tope stumbled backward, his fine clothes now smearing with dust. "Ayinde, wetin be this? You won't kill me?" he shouted, his voice shaking. Ayinde knew this was the horn's doing. He gripped Durojaye's hand tighter and called out, "Stop! I don't want wahala." But the ground only shook harder. Leaves fell from the trees, and the yams in the farm seemed to tremble in the mounds. Alhaji Tope turned and ran, shouting, "Witchcraft! Ayinde na winch!" His eyes echoed as he disappeared down the narrow path, leaving Ayinde and Durojaye alone. The humming finally stopped, and everything fell silent. Ayinde sank to his knees, breathing heavily. Durojaye looked up at him, his face pale with fear. "Baba, wetin dey happen? I dey fear. Baba," Durojaye whispered. He carried his son, and while leaving the farm, he turned to look at his beautiful farm, filled with yams that no one wanted to buy anymore. He thought about the villagers, their whispers, their fear. He thought about the horn's warning. Power had brought him riches, but it had also brought trouble. That night, Ayinde sat outside his small house, staring at the glowing horn in his hands. The stars above him were bright, but his heart felt heavy. He thought of his late wife Tenny, and how simple their life had been before all of this. "Ayinde," The horn's deep voice spoke softly. The choice is yours. Power is a gift, but not everyone can carry its weight. Will you let me go, or will you keep me? Choose wisely, for this is your last chance. Ayinde stared at the horn for a long time. Jai sat beside him silently, looking at the horn in his father's hand. Finally, Ayinde sighed and stood up. Come, my pikin, he said. Follow me. Where will they go, Baba? Jai asked, his voice small. We dey go bury this horn within my hand. They walked through the dark forest, guided only by the faint glow of the horn. The night was quiet, as if the whole world was holding its breath as Ayinde approached the clearing where he intended to bury the horn. The humming began again, low and soft, but it grew louder with every step he took. He dropped to his knees and started digging into the earth. But before he could place the horn inside, a soft voice called out from behind him. Stop, my son! Ayinde froze. He turned slowly, and there, standing at the edge of the clearing, was an old woman. Her hair white as fresh cotton, and her skin wrinkled like the bark of an old tree. She wore a simple wrapper, and a wooden staff rested in her frail hand. Yet her eyes were sharp, glowing faintly like embers. Who you be? Ayinde stammered, his voice trembling. The woman smiled faintly, stepping closer. Do not fear me, Ayinde. I am Olori Agba, the keeper of the forest secret. The horn called me here, just as it called you. The horn? Ayinde's eyes widened. Why you choose me? I no understand. The old woman looked at the horn, then at Ayinde, then at Jai. This horn is older than time. It was forged by the gods to test the hearts of men. Many have held it, but few have survived this test. The horn chooses only those whose struggles are pure and whose intentions are clean. You were chosen, Ayinde, because you are a man of kindness and honesty. But the horn's gift comes with a price. Ayinde shook his head, confused. I no ask for this horn. I just wan bury am, make my life continue the way I dey live am before. The old woman's expression darkened. You cannot bury your destiny so easily. The horn will not rest until its purpose is fulfilled. But that is not why I came to stop you. The woman pointed her bony finger in the direction of Ilera village. Your people have turned against you. A jealous man, Baba Karim, has poisoned their hearts. He has told them lies. They believe you are using witchcraft to steal wealth from them. Even now, they are gathering. Their plan is to burn you and your son alive. And they stumbled backward, his chest tightening. Burn us? For waiting. Jealousy does not need reason, Olori Agba replied. You must leave, Ayinde. You and your son. You must go far away from this village before the sun rises. Tears welled in Ayinde's eyes as he clutched the horn. Where I go? I no get anywhere. The old woman smiled softly and placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. Go beyond the great river to a village called Okawo. The people there are kind, and they will welcome you if you use the horn wisely. Do not look back, Ayinde. Your life and your son's life depends on it. The humming of the horn faded, as if agreeing with her words. Ayinde knew he had no choice. Thank you, Mama, he whispered. Go, the old woman said, disappearing into the shadows as quietly as she had come. Jai shook in fear while hiding behind his father. Ayinde and his son quickly rushed back home. packed a small bundle of food and few clothes, and then left Ilera village. They moved quickly, avoiding the main paths. The glow of torches flickered in the distance as villagers gathered, their voices angry. "Where are Ayinde?" Baba Karim shouted. "We go catch am today." But Ayinde and his son were already far away, crossing the great river as the first light of morning broke. Days later, Ayinde and Durojaye arrived at Okawo, a peaceful village surrounded by green hills. The villagers, led by a kind chief named Bale Adewale, welcomed them with open arms. After hearing Ayinde's story, Ayinde used the horn to bless the land, where crops had refused to grow. Lush farms sprang up overnight. The village, once struggling, became rich with yams, cassava, and fruits. The people were overjoyed. "God bless Ayinde," they would chant. "The man with a good heart." Ayinde was no longer a poor farmer. The villagers respected him, not just for his gift, but for his honesty and humility. Even Durojaye thrived, running freely and making friends. "Baba," Durojaye said one evening, "this village love us well well. We no go ever suffer again." Ayinde smiled, patting his son's head. "Yes, my pikin, this place go be our home now." Meanwhile, back in Ilera village, the whole village had become aware that Ayinde and his son had fled the village. "How did he know we were coming for them?" Baba Karim said. "Who betrayed us?" "Mama Duke, it be like say na you o." Mama Duke stared at him from head to toe and responded, "Yeye man, shebi you don use your lies and jealousy take pursue dat nice man and him pikin comot from dis village. No be me tell am, but I for happy if say na me tell am. Na you get your mouth, Mama Aduke, but I sure say na im winch people tell am make e run," Baba Karim responded. Baba Karim, greedy as ever, rubbed his hands together. "Him run leave the farm? Very good. Dat farm go be my own now." But when he got to Ayinde's farm, his mouth fell open. The yams were gone. The vines had withered into dust. It was as if the land itself had turned to stone. "This one no dey possible," Baba Karim cried, digging into the soil with his bare hands. "Where the yams dem go?" The villagers began to murmur. "Maybe Ayinde no be winch after all." "Baba Karim lie give us," someone shouted. Slowly, the people turned on Baba Karim, blaming him for driving Ayinde away. Baba Karim's greed had cost him, and he became an outcast, living alone on the barren land that once belonged to Ayinde. Years passed, and Okawo prospered under Ayinde's care. Though he still had the horn, Ayinde never misused it. Instead, he taught the villagers to work hard and live honestly. One day, an old woman arrived at Okawo. It was Oloriawa. She smiled at Ayinde and said, "The horn has served its purpose. It chose you wisely. Now it is time for it to rest." Ayinde took the horn to the hills and buried it deep in the earth. This time, it did not hum or shake. It was finally at peace. Ayinde lived the rest of his days as a wise elder who was loved and respected by all. He married 2 wives who had 3 sons and 2 daughters for him. Meanwhile, his son Durojaye grew into a handsome, rich farmer. He met and married the daughter of Okawo, High Chief. And when people asked how Okawo became so blessed, the villagers would say, it was the work of a good man with a clean heart. And so, the tale of the magic horn lived on. Thank you for watching, guys, and please do not forget to subscribe to my channel for more interesting stories. Let me know in the comment section what lessons you learned from this story, and also do not forget to like and share this video to encourage me. Turn on your notification bell so you can get notified whenever I drop a new story. Until next time, bye.